Hey, how's it going, guys? Jeremy Donson here with thedrumprofessor.com. Today we're going to be going over one of my favorite songs. If you've ever seen Shrek, you recognize this song, All Star by Smash Mouth. And if not, it's still an awesome, popular song. But anyways, it's pretty cool. The bass intro at the beginning is actually more challenging than you might think if you're not used to kicking 1 foot pretty fast tempo. But once you get past that, it's very repetitive. It's a pretty cool song though. So before we get started, if you have any questions or need any additional help, go to my website, thedrumprofessor.com. Take advantage of a one-on-one live lesson with me. Show you a ton of stuff. Just let me know what you'd like to go over and I'd be happy to help you out. Here we go, from the top.
She was looking kind of dumb with her finger and her thumb in the shape of an L on her forehead.
Okay, so before we start with the intro, I just want to cover real briefly that in the chorus that there is a couple of different beat options that you can do. There's actually more like 3 different options. So when we get to the chorus, just keep in mind, and we'll go over that in more detail, there's 3 different bass combinations we can do. I'll give you samples of all 3 and then we'll show you one and you can work on the other 2 if you like. Okay, so the intro beat is going to be played like this. 1, a 2, a 3, and 4, and a 1. Okay, so 1, a 2, a 3, and 4, and a 1. All right, so your bass is going to go bass, 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 bass. If you're having trouble with the double kick, message me. We can set up a free one-on-one session. I can go over in more detail with you how to do that. But otherwise, you're just going to do some 1, 2, 3, and some pretty fast basses there. Okay, so 1, a 2, a 3, and 4. On 4, you're going to hit the snare and hi-hat drag at the same time. And then and a 1. You're going to crash with the bass drum. So 1, a 2, a 3, and 4, and a 1. 1, a 2, a 3, and 4, and a 1. So and where this comes in the song is in the shape of an L on her 4. Right after he says 4, that's where you come in. Okay, so let's try this with music here.
She was looking kind of dumb with her finger and her thumb in the shape of an L on her forehead.
Alright, so the beat itself is very simple. Once you do the fill, snare, bass, bass, snare, you're just crashing into the beat here. So at the end of the fill, when you crash with the bass drum, you're going to go bass and snare and bass, bass, snare and bass and snare and bass, bass, snare and super easy, not really that hard. You want to have a nice closed hi-hat there. Okay, so now we're going to play through the first verse all the way to the chorus. Whenever you get into the chorus, you just simply crash with the bass. That's it. Piece of cake. All right, here we go.
She was looking kind of dumb with her finger and her thumb in the shape of an L on her forehead. Stop coming, they don't stop coming. Back to the rules and I hit the ground running. It makes sense not to live for fun. Your brain gets sloppy, your head gets dumb. So much to do, so much to see. So what's wrong with thinking the back streets? You'll never know if you don't go. You'll never shine if you don't grow. Hey now,
Okay, so 8 measures of the verse, then we crash into the chorus. Now, like I said, the beginning of the chorus is a crash with the bass drum. Once you do that, we're going to be switching to heavy hi-hats. Your hats are slightly cracked, and this is where the 3 different combinations of bass come into play. So option 1 is bass is on 1 and 3 and. Option 2. Your bass is on 1 and 3 and. Option 3 is. Bass is on 1 and 3 and the E of 4. Now, if you don't know how to counter read music, that sounds like total Spanish. It's okay. I'm going to break it down for you. So we're going to go with option 1 on that one. If you want to go over the other 2, like I said, just message me and we can schedule a session to go over that. But we're going to go with option 1 in this lesson. So crash with the bass and then heavy hi-hat bass. Once you do that, you're going to add the snare. Okay, so we got crash, bass, snare. Then we're going to do and snare. So as in my previous videos, if I ever say and, that's just hi-hat by itself. So bass, bass, snare, and snare. Now the key to this beat, before we go to the next part, is your hi-hat stick must stay the same. If your hi-hat changes, then it's wrong. For example, if your hi-hat's tempted to hit with the snare, which it may be at first, then that's incorrect. So just remember your hi-hat's never changing. It's like your metronome. Can't be changed. All right, so. Okay. So once we do this, we're going to do bass, snare, bass next. So bass, snare, bass. The bass is, or I'm sorry, the snare is by itself. Bass, snare, bass. Putting that together. Bass, snare, and snare, bass, snare, bass. Bass, bass, snare, and snare, bass, snare, bass. Okay, next is a snare drum with the hi-hat. Now remember, making sure that the hi-hat is consistent will tell you where the next beat is supposed to go. So keeping it the same, bass, bass, snare, and snare, bass, snare, bass, snare. Don't rush that last one, give it time, because it's a slower count to that next snare drum. Okay, so after that snare, we're going to do and snare by itself on the snare, and then we repeat it again. That's what we add at the end. So putting that together now, and snare. So bass, bass, snare, high snare, bass, snare, bass, snare, and snare, bass, bass, snare, snare, bass, snare, bass, snare, snare, bass, bass, snare, snare, bass, snare, bass, snare, snare, bass. So that's a pretty fun beat for this chorus here. Now let's put the whole thing together, see what it sounds like. And oh, you know what? Actually, let's do one more thing. Once you finish the chorus, very simple bridge back to the second verse, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, and you're back into the verse. So we are going to cover that as well. Super easy. Bass and hi-hat together, hi-hat by itself, bass and hi-hat together, hi-hat by itself, and you do that 1, 2, 3, 4, start the second verse. Okay, so let's try it again. One more time, all with music.
Kind of dumb with her finger and her thumb in the shape of an L on her forehead. Well, they don't stop coming. Back to the rules and I hit the ground running. It makes sense from the live for fun. Your brain gets smart and your head gets dumb. So much to do, so much to see. So what's wrong with taking the back streets? Remember, no, if you don't go. Remember, shine if you don't go. Hey now, you're no fun.
Alright, now as you notice I added one crash in the middle of the chorus there. You're just going to crash on 5. Piece of cake. Crash on 5. So And that's it. That is the intro, first verse, and chorus. So hope you guys really enjoyed this, and it's, as you see, it's very repetitive as you go. There are some really cool fills to come after this. Do a rough with your left hand. There's another one where you do more of a 5-stroke roll and then get into the fill. So there's some cool things ahead, but this will get you well on your way to doing this song. So I hope you guys really enjoyed it. Have fun and rock on.